What the hell are you doing, bro? I'm projecting, bro. I saw this video on TikTok saying how you can project your future and how you can foresee all the things that's gonna happen to you. And I see that I'm gonna have a Lambo, I'm gonna have tons of money, I'm gonna be having a yacht and everything good. Okay, I see. So you can see the future now, right? You can see exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, bro, I see everything clearly, every single thing that's going to happen, I can see it. Oof, I can even feel it almost. What the hell, bro? What's wrong with you, man? Why did you slap me? So you didn't see that coming, huh? Stop with that freaking bullshit and start doing real things in life. Stop with that social network world. Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Dan, and in today's video, as always, I'll be doing a full weekly technical and fundamental analysis for both stock market and crypto market. We're going to over some news, see what happened in the last week and what am I expecting to happen in the next week. So please stay tuned. All right, let's move on to the PC and start as always with Nasdaq 100 technical analysis. Okay, so what we see over here is a Nasdaq 100 weekly chart. And as I've called it in the last week, I've said that we're going to retest somewhere around 11,800 area first, which is the EMA 20 on the weekly chart, and that's exactly what happened. We broke off of this EMA 50 on the weekly chart, which was standing at around 12,350, and went all the way down to 11,850, but then we had some momentum towards the end of the week and managed to keep it in green. So what do I expect now in the market to happen for Nasdaq 100? At the moment, currently, as you can see, we're literally sitting on EMA 50, which was our previous resistance point, which we couldn't break it. And what we're going to do now is anybody's guess. From this point onwards, Nasdaq can literally go anywhere. And I've told you that I'm expecting 11,500 in the near future, but even with all the news or bad news that are coming to the market, we are just not seeing new lows. We are seeing the momentum being picked up. And what we could do is easy something like this. This looks quite nice and bullish to me. And if we have the momentum and the strength to keep it up, we can finish this rising flag, end up somewhere in this area at around 12,800. And if we manage to break it, then it's just a matter of time where we're going to see 13,500 next. However, if we don't keep up the momentum, we're just gonna do something like go back to the area of 12,100, retest it, and then most probably have another push and then manage to break it and come again into this area of 12,700 on our way to 13,500. Now, why did I change my stance from being so bearish to all of a sudden being bullish and looking at 13,000 and 13,500? Well, guys, I told you, I changed my mind when the facts change. Now, the momentum is slowly pointing to the upside more than to the downside, because even with the bad news that happened in the market, we did not have enough selling pressure and we were bought very quickly and continue our way to the upside. This chart and the price action to me looks quite bullish. It is a clear rising flag that could end potentially at 13,000, as I've said, in the next week if we have the momentum. However, as always, you need to take a lot of things into consideration. Next week, we don't have any big news. We only have job reports. We do have Chair Powell that's going to be talking about some stuff, but I'm going to cover that later. And we do have anticipation in a couple of weeks. We have CPI report, which is an inflation report, okay? So in the meantime, when there's no news, market can actually pump. Even though last week, if you asked me, this looked very bearish and I thought that we actually can break this area over here and head to retest the 11,500, which we didn't do. So with this momentum at the moment, if we manage to keep it up, I believe that we can actually turn the trend around and go break it, retest the previous highs at around 12,700, go to 13,000, and eventually after the CPI reports, end of the March, maybe if the interest rate decision, we can even go to 13,500, but that's too far away. We're gonna talk about it when the time comes. Now let's zoom in one day chart to see if there's anything happening there. No, nothing. Indicators are not showing anything special. We managed to reclaim all the EMAs and all the levels on the daily chart, and we have this strong green candle. You see this candle right over here, this big wick. That shows us a big buying pressure, and the sellers are probably closing their position. And it's good that we actually ended up our week in green, and that we have this big green momentum going and pointing to the upside. That means that we're still in kind of a pivot point and that we can actually keep up with this bullish momentum for a while. Now let's zoom in even further. As always, 4-hour charts. 4-hour chart is actually showing us something a little bit different. 4-hour chart, as you can see over here, shows us this hidden bearish divergence. All right, so it tells us that we might have a slight pullback because this is only a 4-hour chart. All right, and the logic that supports this 4-hour chart, if we go back again to 1 week, what do we have here again? We're sitting on an EMA 50, and if the price action actually decides to respect the indicators, it will have a slight pullback to somewhere probably over here in this area, 12,200, or maybe even retest the 12,100, and just to continue to the upside. So if the indicators are actually right, we're going to have a slight pullback just to continue to the upside. The pullback doesn't have to be this big. We might even just go like 100 points down to 12,200 just to continue on the way up, but we're gonna see that when the market opens. I would be short oriented when the market opens just to get that initial 100 points or so, and then I will be turning bullish as I can see the momentum, and if I see the prices going upwards, and if I see that the candles are still very strong and there's momentum. So just to recap, what do I expect for next week Nasdaq 100? I do expect a small pullback, 100 points or so, just to retest this area over here, and then bounce back and continue the momentum to the upside, with our target being previous resistance point, which is a 12,700 or so. Now, if we manage to reclaim the 12,700, then of course, and if we break out of this area, there's nothing to stop us until 13,000. This week, our end target could potentially be, if we continue the bullish momentum, at around 12,600 or 700 or so. Now, of course, the bearish scenario for this would be just a typical false break, which means go to the downside, break these levels again, break out and create new lows, which would take us finally to this 11,500, which will be on a weekly chart, EMA 200, and this is the last line of resort that I actually expect us to go to, and I don't think we're gonna break below it, and I think that we're going to stay above it for a while for now. So that will be all for Nasdaq 100. So slight pullback and then positive momentum. Now let's see Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? Okay, so on a weekly chart, as I've said in previous videos, this looked really bearish to me, and we did manage to break to the downside. However, we didn't come all the way to 21,600 as I said. We came to 21,800 if I believe so, or something, and that momentum now is very bearish. Okay, but we're somewhere in this area where we're slowly creating some support, and we might see some buyers coming in if we have some good news, because as you already know, I'm gonna go over it in the rest of the video, but there was some crypto bad news. As always, I mean, crypto has been in bad news for forever, so the momentum is actually pointing to the downside. But let's zoom into the daily chart to see if there's anything interesting on a daily chart. As you can see on a daily chart, I told you guys that this is the last area of support, which is around between 21,600 and 22,300. So if we manage to stay in this area over here, that means that Bitcoin is still holding strong. If we don't manage to hold it, and if we break below, then we're going to see revisit of the new lows. However, I really doubt it, because if the stock market continues bullish momentum, I believe crypto will follow it too. So on a daily chart, as I already told you in the previous video, we had this very nice bearish divergence, which actually played out, as you can see. So you could have ride Bitcoin short all the way from 25,000 to now. So that would be a really nice profit, and I congratulate you if you did. That was a really good short position. And now at this point in time, what do I expect in Bitcoin? As you can see, right over here, we have a small hidden bullish divergence that formed actually on a daily chart, okay? And this hidden bullish divergence is on both MACD and RSI, and I would actually expect Bitcoin to turn around now, get these EMAs into a support area, go and revisit 23,500 or so to this area over here, and then if we have a good momentum, just to continue back to 25k, revisit 25k, and maybe if we have a really good momentum, later on, after the CPI report and after the Fed announcement of the interest rate hike, we might even go and see the 32,000. I was actually calling 21,600 first, but we might not even see it at this point. As I told you, I'm quite bullish for the next week, and I do believe that the bullish momentum will kick in, and I do believe that we're gonna see some relief rally. So to recap, for Bitcoin, I do expect us to go back to somewhere at around 23,000-24,000 area, and if we manage to hold it, continue momentum and retest the 25k. Now, after that, we will see if we're going to have another smaller pullback or we're going to break it with strength, depending on the timeline when all these things happen. And if we, in a bearish scenario, go down, I don't see us going further than the 21,600 the most. So that would be the prediction for Bitcoin. Now let's move on to some news and cover some reports. In the last week, there was a couple of news happening. Most of them, they were job related reports. On Monday and Tuesday, there was nothing too interesting. On Wednesday, we had ISM manufacturing PMI report, which actually came slightly below expectations. And then on Thursday, we had initial jobless claims that again surprised. They were stronger than expected, which is a trend now already, and we see in the last couple of weeks that the initial jobless claims are just not going down, which is a good thing for people. People have jobs, economy is still doing good, and that means that the recession probably won't be that severe, and that actually gives us some positivity into the stock market. Then we had a ISM non-manufacturing PMI, which came better than expected, slightly better than expected, and that brought some positivity for the end of the week. Then the Fed came and gave us a couple of nice sentences, and the market managed to keep up the momentum, and we managed to end the week in green. Now for next week, we do have Fed Chair Powell is going to testify on 7th of March, which is Tuesday, and also on Wednesday. So as always, pay attention to Chair Powell, what he's going to say, mark his words, read between the lines. Anything, any hint that is going to say that we're going to have a pause of rate hikes or something like that is going to be very bullish for the market. If he stays bearish as he was until now, then we'll see how the market will react. We'll see if the people are actually still buying the story of the Fed that they're going to be very harsh, end up the rates at 6%, or if the market thinks that's all BS. Now again, we have jobs opening, and we're gonna have ADP non-farm employment change. All these are job reports, and pay close attention to them. Of course, Thursday is gonna be initial jobless claims, and then we're gonna have non-farm payrolls on Friday just for the end of the week. And there's going to be unemployment rate, which is show us how high is the unemployment. All these job reports, as I've said, if they come better as expected, are kind of bearish for the market, right? So we want to see bad numbers, and if we see bad numbers, we're going to pump. End of story. Let's quickly cover some news and to finish up and wrap up this video. So for the last week, we have stock market today. Dow snaps 4-week losing streak as growth stocks strike back. Now the Dow rallied Friday, snapping a 4-week losing streak as growth stocks including tech fought back from their sell-off after treasury yields eased for more than a decade high. And when it comes to Nasdaq 100, it correlates with the 10-year treasury yield, and whenever the 10 years treasury yield goes up, Nasdaq goes down. Whenever vice versa, the yield goes down, Nasdaq goes up. So they're actually affecting one another. Now we see that the 10-year treasury yield moved back below the 4% key level after recently hitting its highest since 2010. The recent string of strong economic data has forced investors to rethink how much more Fed tightening is needed to materially slow the economy. Markets are now forecasting the Fed to lift rates to a terminal rate as high as 5.46%, well above the 4.95% level seen at the end of the last year. So the market is now digesting everything that's happening, and they're calculating and thinking, oh, will they maybe make a stop now and then increase 50 basis points, or maybe they're gonna do 50 basis points increment in a row, which is kind of unlikely at the moment. But let's see. Everybody's just calculating. We don't know anything. As I told you, somewhere at the end of the March, I believe 22nd or so, we have a federal interest rates decision. So that is the time where we're gonna know. Before that, we're gonna have a CPI report, which we need to pay close attention to see where we're at with inflation. As we saw last week, the inflation isn't cooling down as fast as we would like it to see. Let's move on to some crypto news. Silvergate closes exchange network, releases 9.9 million to BlockFi. The bank is discontinuing its crypto payment network, claiming the termination is a risk-based decision. Crypto bank Silvergate announced on March 3rd that it's discontinuing this digital asset payment network, claiming the termination is a risk-based decision. The move comes after the bank's stock fell over 59% in the past 5 days due to fears of a potential bankruptcy. So guys, again, crypto doesn't get a single minute of good news. Silvergate was the bank who was dealing with the crypto payments and transfers, so it is on verge of bankruptcy as everybody is thinking, and the stock just tumbled down, and we see this attack on crypto is getting stronger and stronger. But what we are not seeing is crypto crumbling lower and lower, which is what I talked about in previous video. It's good. All this bad news, all this FUD is not affecting crypto. That means that we are now at a phase where we are holding strong. We just need to survive maybe one more leg down. Maybe everybody's projecting it. Will it happen? I don't know. So maybe one more leg down and that's it. I think we're going to be out of the muddy waters and we're going to start slowly bull market by the end of the 2023. Actually a transition into a bull market, and then I hope 2024 Q1, Q2 we're going to get into a bull market and then skyrocket from there, go to new highs, make a Lambo money, but not by watching TikTok Sadhguru's meditational videos. No, you need to invest money, so be ready, be prepared. Keep investing your money in crypto and stock market. You need to be diversified, and I'm gonna be with you throughout this journey. I'm going to be doing these weekly analysis for you, so let's make some money together. And that was it for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Enjoy.